what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thanks for joining, and let's get right into today's video. We are going to be reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. We are on chapter 8. I had to look in the book because it's been a while since we've read it together, but we are going to be going into chapter 8. So here we go. This video may contain foul language and graphic details of scenes. If you do not wish to continue, click off the video now. And I'm sorry if the camera moves a lot. You are currently on a shelf. So let's get into chapter 8. Let's get into chapter 8. And if you have realized, I am in a different shirt than the two clips before, and I will show you the reason why at the end of the video. But let's get into chapter 8 of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And I know there's going to be glare, but bear with me. Wait, what? Pip stared at him, open-mouthed. That's Sal's. How do you have it? The police released it to us a few months after they closed Andy's investigation. A cautious electricity sparked up the back of Pip's neck. She said, can I look at it? Of course, he laughed. That's why I brought it. Excitement charged through her. Holy moly, she flustered, and hurrying to unlock the door. Let's go up to look at it in my workstation, bedroom. She and Barney bolted over the threshold, but Ravi didn't follow. She spun back around. What's wrong? She said. Come on. Sorry, you're just very entertaining when you're this intense. Come on, she repeated, beckoning him through the hallway and to the stairs. Don't drop it. I'm not going to drop it. Pip jogged up to her room, Ravi following far too slowly behind. She did a hasty scan of her bedroom for potential embarrassments. Cursing, she dived for a pile of just laundered bras by her chair, shoving them into a drawer and slamming it shut. Just as Ravi walked in, she pointed him to her desk chair, too flustered to sit herself. Here you go then. I charged it last night. He placed the phone into her cupped palms. Passcode is 44s. He used that for everything. Have you ever looked through it? She asked, sliding to unlock it more carefully than she'd ever unlocked her own phone, even at its newest. Yeah, obviously, but go ahead, Sergeant. Where would you look first? Call log, she said, tapping the green phone icon. She looked through the missed call list. There were dozens from April 22nd, the Tuesday he had died. Calls from Dad, Mom, Ravi, Naomi, Jake, an unsaved number that must have been the police trying to locate him. Pip scrolled back further to the date of Andy's disappearance. Sal had 2 missed calls that day. One from Maxie Boy at 7:19 p.m., probably to ask when he was coming over. Then the other one she read and skipped a heartbeat was from Andy at 8:54 p.m. Andy rang him that night, Pip said to herself, and Ravi just before 9. Ravi nodded. Sal didn't pick up, though. Pippa! Her dad's voice sailed up the stairs. No boys in the bedroom. Pip's cheek flooded with heat. She turned to Ravi, so Ravi couldn't see, and yelled back, We're working on my project. My door is open. Okay, that will do, came the reply. She glanced back at Ravi and saw he was chuckling at her again. Stop finding my life amusing, she said, looking back at the phone. She went through Sal's outgoing calls next. Andy's name repeated over and over again. It was broken up in places with the odd call to home or Dad and one to Naomi on Saturday, but from 10:33 a.m. on the Saturday until 7:21 a.m. on that Tuesday, Sal called her 112 times. Each call lasted 2 or 3 seconds, straight to voicemail. He called her over 100 times, Ravi said, reading her face. Why would he call so many times if he'd supposedly killed her and had her phone hidden somewhere, said Pip. I asked the police that very question years ago, Ravi said. The officer told me it was clear that Sal was making a conscious effort to look innocent by calling the victim's phone so many times. But, Pip countered, if they thought he was making an effort to act innocent and avoid getting caught, why didn't he get rid of Andy's phone? He could have put it in the same place as her body, and it never would have connected him to her death. If he was trying to not get caught, why would he keep one of the biggest bit of evidence, and then feel desperate enough to call to end his life with this vital evidence still on him? Ravi snapped and pointed at her. The officer couldn't answer that either. Did you look at the last text Andy and Sal sent each other? She asked. Yeah, take a look. Don't worry, they aren't anything sexy. Pip opened the messages app and clicked on Andy's name, feeling like a trespasser. Sal had sent 2 texts to Andy after she disappeared. The first on Sunday morning, Andy, just come home, everyone's worried, and on Monday afternoon, please just ring someone so we know you're safe. The messages preceding them was sent on the Friday she went missing at 9:01 p.m. Sal texted her, I'm not talking to you till you've stopped. Pip showed Ravi. He said that just after ignoring her call that night. Do you know what they could have been fighting about? What did Sal want Andy to stop? No idea. Can I just type this up really fast? She said, reaching over him for her laptop. She parked herself on the bed and transcribed the text, grammar mistakes and all. Now you need to look at the last text he sent my dad, Ravi said. The one they said is his confession. Pip moved over to the conversation at 10:17 a.m. on his final Tuesday morning. Sal said to his father, it was me. I did it. I'm so sorry. Pip's eyes ran over it several times in the pixels of each letter, thinking, you see it too, don't you? Ravi was watching her. The grammar, Pip asked, looking for the agreement in Ravi's eyes. Sal was the cleverest person I knew, he said, but he texted it like he was illiterate. Always in a rush, no punctuation, no capital letters. He must have had autocorrected turned off, Pip said, and yet in this last text we have 3 periods and an apostrophe, even though it's all in lowercase. And what does that make you think? Asked Ravi. That maybe someone else wrote the text, she said. Someone who added the punctuation themselves because that's how they were used to writing in text. Maybe they checked quickly and thought it looked enough like Sal's other messages because it was all lowercase. That's what I thought too when we first got it back. The police just sent me away. My parents didn't want to hear it either. He sighed. I think they're terrified of false hope. I am too, if I'm being honest. Pip scoured the rest of the phone. Sal hadn't taken any photos on the night in question and none since Andy's disappearance. She checked the deleted folder to be sure. The reminders were all about essays he had to hand in and want to buy his mom a birthday present. There's something interesting in the notes, Ravi said, rolling over the chair and opening the app for her. The notes were all old. Sal's home Wi-Fi password, an abs workout, a page of internships he could apply to, but there was one later note written Wednesday, April 16th, 2014. Pip tapped into it. There was one thing typed on the page. 009 KKJ. License plate number, right? Ravi said. Looks like it. He wrote down in his notes 2 days before Andy went missing. Do you recognize it? Ravi shook his head. I tried to Google it to see if I could find the owner, but no luck. Pip typed it in her log anyway, and the exact time the note was listed edited. That's everything, Ravi said. That's all I could find. Pip gave the phone one last wistful look before handing it back. You seem disappointed, he said. I just hoped there'd be something more sustainable. We could use inconsistent grammar and lots of phone calls to Andy sure make him look innocent, but they don't actually open any leads to pursue. Not yet, he said, but I wanted you to see it. Have you gotten anywhere with your interviews? Pip paused. Yes, she had, but part of that was Naomi's possible involvement. Her protective instinct flared up, grabbing hold of her tongue, but she knew if they were going to be partners, they had to be all in. She opened her capstone project document, scrolled to the top, and handed the laptop to Ravi. This is everything I've gotten so far. He read through it all quietly and handed the computer back, a thoughtful look on his face. Okay, so the Sal alibi route is a dead end, he said. After he left Max's at 10:30, I think he was alone because it explains why he panicked and asked his friends to lie for him. He could have just stopped on a bench on his walk home and played Angry Birds or something. I agree, said Pip. He was most likely alone and therefore he has no alibi. It's the only thing that makes sense, so that line of the inquiry is lost. I think the next step should be to find out as much as we can about Andy's life and in the process identify anyone who might have had motive to kill her. Read my mind, Sarge, he said. Maybe you could start with Andy's best friends, Emma Hutton and Chloe Birch. They might actually speak to you. I've messaged them both. Haven't heard back yet, though. Okay, good, he said, nodding to himself, then to the laptop. In that interview with the journalist, you talked about gaps in the case with inconsistencies. Do you see? What inconsistencies do you see? Well, if you'd killed someone, she said, you'd scrub yourself down multiple times, fingernails included, right? Especially if you were lying about alibis and making fake calls to look innocent. Wouldn't you want Think to wash the freaking blood off your hands so you don't get caught red-handed, literally? Yeah, Sal definitely wasn't that stupid. And of course, his fingerprints would be found in her car. He was her boyfriend, said Pip. Fingerprints can't be accurately dated. And hiding the body, Ravi leaned forward. I've always thought that this was a stretch. If she's buried in the woods somewhere, how did Sal have the time to dig a hole well enough that she's never been found? Okay, so he had time, but was it enough for that? Or any other way of disposing of a body, Pip added. And yet, this is the path of least resistance. The story everyone believes. It is supposedly, she said, until you start asking the right questions. That is the end of chapter 8. We will go into chapter 9 in the next video, and I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget to comment down below what you think is going to happen in chapter 9, and don't forget to click that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye. Okay. And I'm sorry if you hear my dogs in the background. You know me. I've got my dogs. Always. Chapter 8. Wait, what? Pip stared at him, open-mouthed. That's Sal? How do you have it? Ooh, I'm gonna have to put my glasses back on. It's a little blurry. I'm sorry if there's a glare, but the police released it to us a few months after they closed Andy's investigation. A cautious electricity sparked up in the back of Pip's neck. She said, can I look at it? Of course, he laughed. That's why I brought it. Excitement charged through her. Holy moly, she said, flustered and hurrying to unlock the door. Let's go and look at it in my workstation, bedroom. She and Barney bolted over the threshold. My dogs are in here. You're gonna have to deal with it, or oh well. But Ravi didn't follow. She spun back around. What's wrong? She said. Come on. Sorry, we are just very entertaining when you're this intense. Oh my goodness. Dang. Falcon, what are you two doing? Oh goodness, it's Attack of the Dogs. I'll have to finish this later.